Is Masahiro Sakurai actually developing the next Smash Brothers as we speak? Well, there was a update on Sakurai and his channel. If you didn't know, Sakurai actually has a YouTube channel, and he pretty much just posts like different insights about the gaming world and about what goes into making a game and development process, which is a really cool thing to see. He even goes into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's development and talk about like all the plans and the process of it, and he made a whole video kind of discussing and laying out the plan of how it worked. You know, how he came up with the idea, how Nintendo wanted him to get the idea done for the Switch and all this information. It was really cool. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. A couple of days ago, Sakurai announced that his YouTube channel will wrap up in 2024 by the end of the year, which is kind of crazy because he just made the channel. Now, of course, I do know that this could mean absolutely nothing, that maybe Sakurai is just, done everything that he wanted to. He's covered all the topics in game development and everything with Smash Brothers that he needed to, and he was able to share his piece of information with the world, and that's enough, and he's done. But let's face it, a lot of it is because he's going back and making games. At least that is where I would think, and I think a lot of people also agree that it probably means Sakurai wants to get back into game development. I mean, he never said he was done. He was just taking a break after Smash Ultimate and making some YouTube videos, and we really haven't heard anything else about it since. We know that there are new spirits coming to Smash Ultimate, but that probably wouldn't really require Sakurai's work whatsoever, maybe just some, ideas and stuff. But for the most part, yeah, it looks like Sakurai would probably only be called back if it was time to work on another Smash Brothers, which, let's face it, it probably is. Smash Ultimate came out in December of 2018, to be exact, and this December of 2024 will mark 6 years since the launch of Smash Ultimate. So yes, I can see at least it taking until 2025 or maybe even 2026 until we see the next Smash Brothers game, which will be 7 to 8 years, which is a very long time. And odds are Nintendo and Sakurai have already began developing this game. Something else very interesting is Bandai Namco, the developers of Smash Ultimate and Smash 4, have made their own studio to develop games as well, and it would just make sense that they would utilize the studio to develop future Smash Brothers games. So with that suddenly announced out of nowhere a couple of months ago, I think it's safe to say that maybe Sakurai and Bandai Namco are helping to develop this brand new Smash Brothers for Nintendo's new console. Right now, the rumors are suggesting that this new Nintendo Switch is going to launch at holiday this year, so around September, October, or November, and apparently it's going to launch with a big 3D Mario game. And with lots of other games potentially coming out along the release of this console, it is plenty of time for Nintendo to slowly work away on this new Smash Brothers game. But there's absolutely no shot Nintendo would have a brand spanking new console and not a Smash Brothers within the first couple of years of the launch of that console. So personally, I would say 2025 or more likely 2026 is when we could possibly see yet again another Super Smash Brothers game. And actually, Sakurai has mentioned in multiple different occasions in different videos that he doesn't necessarily see the end of Smash happening, but he also doesn't see Smash moving on without him. So odds are he's still going to be there to at least overlook production, but maybe leave it up to, Bandai Namco and new teams and younger teams to actually develop the game while he's just overhead of production. He just is kind of in charge of the whole project altogether and probably giving ideas. Sakurai has actually spoke on this in the future of Smash and said that Smash Brothers could have another installment, and he thinks that it probably will, but just nowhere near as ambitious as what they did in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That game had over 90 playable characters, over 100 different stages, and like thousands of songs. But yeah, he pretty much suggests that the next Smash Brothers would probably be a reboot, as he doesn't want to keep pushing on what they've already done and maybe go back. And I think this is the best opportunity for Smash Brothers just to kind of reboot the franchise and kind of remake the characters. There's no reason for Mario to still have essentially the same moveset as he did on the Nintendo 64. But Sakurai actually mentioned that his whole channel was created because of the break that he had after creating Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which gave him about a year, and even after this year will be about 2 years of free time in order to develop this channel. So if this is kind of what he was doing as his free time and now he's quitting YouTube as of this year, it tells me that, yeah, Nintendo called the boy back up. But like I said, maybe this time around he's not involved directly, but rather just kind of the head of the development and just kind of oversees production, which would give him more leeway to continue making videos as of now, just keep his eyes on this next production. But yeah, come on, the Smash Bros. Series sells way too well and is way too popular and way too big to not appear on this new Nintendo Switch coming out, so Nintendo is definitely probably in mid-development of this game as we speak. Now, a lot of people might also say, what if it's not even Smash Brothers related? What if it's something else entirely, or what if it's multiple different projects that he's working on? Now, we know that Sakurai used to work on the Kirby games, and then he left that all for HAL Labs. So the only other game as of right now, based on what he's worked on in the past, would be Kid Icarus. And there were a lot of talks about Kid Icarus Uprising coming to the Switch. In fact, Sakurai has mentioned it not once, not twice, but I think like 4 or 5 times, that he would love to see, a remaster or a remake of Kid Icarus Uprising put onto the Switch. So maybe he's helped to co-develop that with another company or something, or maybe he's making a whole nother Kid Icarus from the ground up, which would be absolutely insane. I don't see Nintendo doing that though until they release Kid Icarus Uprising and see how the sales do before putting tons of investment money and time into a new Kid Icarus. Or maybe Sakurai's helping to revitalize another old franchise. I mean, he helped to revitalize Kid Icarus, which was dead after Myths and Monsters, so maybe there's something else that Sakurai wants to revive. Maybe like Balloon Fight or Ice Climbers, for crying out loud. Could you imagine a new Ice Climbers game? That would be awesome. But I think it's safe to say that Sakurai is definitely overworking himself. He's putting himself to too many tasks, I feel like, personally. I mean, the dude has been working on Smash Brothers non-stop, game after game after game. Literally, as soon as Smash 4 development has ended, and even during its DLC, he was already working on Smash Ultimate. And I know, even though Sakurai is on a break technically after Smash Ultimate, and maybe he was the entirety of 2023 pretty much, as he was simply just making videos, Nintendo called him back, and maybe he wants to do both. He's probably working on videos for the rest of 2024 before eventually moving on, but he could be working on Smash Brothers 2, and probably even another game, knowing him. He's just a completely overworking guy, and man, we gotta appreciate his work ethic. I think it's time for him to take the Miyamoto approach, where he doesn't have to really put the whole game in his arms. For instance, carry the whole game alone with the help of others, as being like the primary creator of the game, and spending countless nights of losing sleep and not eating just to get the game out on time. Because that's literally what Sakurai did. He even had health complications because of Smash Brothers. So hopefully this time around he actually just oversees production and kind of works as like the president of Smash Brothers, where he can actually just tell people what he thinks they should do, give examples and maybe some ideas onto the table, and literally just oversee production, where that way he doesn't have to work his butt off, and hopefully he has a bigger team to work with, especially considering the fact that Bandai Namco now has their own individual studio developing Nintendo games. So I think that might help Sakurai out a lot, so that way the whole pressure is not on him and him only. Knowing Sakurai, he likes to make sure that things are done right, so he takes things in his own hands, which you can't blame the guy. But what do you guys think of this information? Do you think Sakurai is ending his channel to get back into the Smash scene? Do you think it's just because he's done with everything he needs to talk about? I mean, obviously there's going to be another Smash Brothers. There's no way Nintendo's just going to let the series die after Ultimate. Let me know what you would like to see from this next Smash Brothers game. Are you excited for it to be a reboot, or would you rather it be something else? Let me know down below, and make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, because it helps out the channel more than you think. Thank you so much for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.